Buying a home? Don't panic. Just listen to the rest of this podcast. Welcome to my podcast, everybody. My name is John LaForme. I'm a certified home inspector and the owner of Home Inspection Authority. My podcast allows me to share my day-to-day home inspection experiences and knowledge to help home buyers, homeowners, realtors, and other home inspectors set realistic expectations with each other during the home buying process. Let's talk about what you offer for recommended service.
Yeah.
So what should a homeowner expect if they call you to say, hey, you know what? My home inspector, John, told me that I need to have regular service done here.
Yeah.
What are you going to tell them?
That's a good question. So I'm very big on maintenance, not just for air conditioning. I'm big on it for my automobiles, my toys.
Sure.
So my toys being like, off-road, water, boat.
Mopars.
Yeah, all that stuff,
Yeah.
You got to pay to play. But As far as air conditioning goes, a lot of people think they're going to put a brand new system in. They never have to worry about it. Just the opposite. A new system, I would recommend that you do more maintenance. If you got a 25-year-old unit, how much money do you want to spend on that? At some point you're going to need a new unit. But a basic maintenance is, for us, one, we replaced a filter. 2, we check the heating and cooling. 3, we'll check airflow. 4, we'll check the drain line. So it's a lot of inspections, loose connections, checking amperage of motors, checking a microfarad at a capacitor. These are indicators that potentially you could have a problem.
Did you say ferret as in the animal?
Yeah. Well, I don't, yes, maybe it's spelled different. That's a good question. Yeah, maybe. It's spelled different. So to test this, for instance, like it'll say on that, plus or minus 3. So if we're, 5, it'll still work, but that's an indicator at some point that's going to fail. So if you're doing a good, proper maintenance, all this should be checked and written down to monitor. Doesn't mean that's part of the maintenance to fix it. But these are indicators that you could have potential problems.
Right.
Yeah, checking
it's being proactive.
Yeah.
And so it's a proactive approach to doing it. And I'm all about being proactive in everything.
Then there's filter changers. That's not maintenance. I see these crazy things, $69, $89. I had a gal who retired that worked with me, and she would tell our customers or people that called in, not our customers, they said, well, this company's charging $89. And she would say, look, they're going to come for $89, but they're not leaving for $89.
Yeah.
And, I get it. I get the whole business
marketing.
side of it. Yeah, I try not to do that. We try to be fair. But when we do a thorough inspection or a one-time maintenance, then we can tell you what the issues are. If you never want to address the issues, there's really no point to do maintenance with me. I'm just a filter changer.
Right.
So if you want to address the issues, unfortunately, most homeowners have issues.
Yeah.
We could go in your system, and I'm going to show you a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Here's a tip for home buyers, potential home buyers. During your inspections, if the sellers are telling you, oh, the system just got serviced, first thing you ask for is a receipt. I guarantee you they won't have it.
Good.
So then here's something I run into a lot. So after I let the listing agent just blow herself up and look like a fool, I'm like, oh, so you just had it serviced when? Oh, they said it was like a week ago. I'm like, okay, great. Come here, let me show you something. See that filter up there? Look how dirty it is. You're going to tell me an HVAC company came through here and serviced your equipment and left that? Either they just robbed you, or that guy's just plain out incompetent. So where's the receipt? I just leave it like that. Bye. Okay, I'm going to go do something else now. You guys work that out.
Well, you're a much better home inspector. Unfortunately, a lot of homeowners, they blame things on you guys. And
all the time.
Yeah, every one of your report, and I feel like I'm one of the guys with one of the older inspector who passed away,
right,
who told him 25 years ago, look, you guys need to put on here that you need to consult with an electrician, a plumber. You're just doing the basic stuff. There's not enough hours in the day for you to find everything.
Right.
And I'll tell you, most people do not. They don't want to pay the extra the extra cost.
Right.
And then they'll call us and say, oh, well, everything was fine. And, the inspector was here. And I said, yeah, do you have his report? Yeah. Well, it says right here, you should have consulted. This is an issue. He wrote all this.
Yeah.
And they don't. Sorry, homeowners.
Yeah. Listen to what I tell you. Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, we're just trying to help you out. That's the purpose of the inspection, is to guide you in the right direction. If you need an HVAC specialist, we're going to tell you. Electrical specialist, we're going to tell you. Same goes for the roof and the foundation and the plumbing.
And I'll
That's
help
what we
people
do.
on the phone. Anybody can call me. I may not be able to speak with them right away, but I know you've called me in the past. Other people have called me. You can send me a report. I can look at it and verbally tell you. But, there's a fee. There's a fee for a contractor to go out and inspect or even look at a report and tell you what, what we recommend.
Everything costs money.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Okay. So back to the recommended service. One thing I forgot to ask you was, when you say you're checking the heating and the cooling, you just running the system, checking the temperature. You're talking about the splits.
Yeah. We're talking about the splits, again, there's a rule of thumb with that.
Yeah.
The new equipment, it doesn't work that way. We can, it's called TD, temperature difference. Mm-hmm. And if we see the TD is low, for instance, if the air coming out is 80 degrees and the temperature in the house is 90 degrees, mm-hmm. that's an indicator there's a problem. So the rule of thumb that I like to work with, 18 to 22 degrees.
That's the same one I use.
Yeah. So sometimes people say, oh, it's blowing really cold, and we'll put the thermometer, and it's 38 degrees coming out.
Right.
That's too cold.
Yes.
That means that coil that could be 20 feet away, that temperature could be 32. What happens at 32, John?
Something gets colder, freezing.
You got it. So that's an indicator, and that could be it's typically from, a low charge. Doesn't mean it can't be a overcharge, plug filter. There's so many things.
Yeah, it has to be gone through.
Yeah,
it has to be a step-by-step process to troubleshoot it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll be honest with you. I do try to troubleshoot systems when I'm there without equipment. I just do my best.
Done.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I check. First thing I do is I like to check the filter, and then after that, I'm gonna then I'll turn the system on. Then I'll get in the attic and do that part of the inspection. Then I'll just kind of let's see what happens. Is this thing cooling down, or is it heating up? Yes or no? Is there there's no blow coming out? There's no flow coming out? Like it's really low flow. Like it's just not blowing my hair back, which I think it should be. So there's a lot of
issue.
Yeah, a lot of things I look at.
Airflow.
Airflow.
Number
Airflow
one.
is number one.
And number one. And a lot of people think, oh, we need a little spritz. We need a Freon. We need a charge.
Just need some Windex.
Well, yeah, if you don't have the proper airflow, you can't check those things.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Let's see. And cost. What's the typical maintenance cost on a scheduled maintenance?
So we have a program, if you're in our area and we've already checked the system out, we have a maintenance program. It's called the club membership.
The club membership.
Yeah. And that's $24.95 a month. We bill it monthly.
Okay.
Now we're one of your people, and it gives you 2 maintenance visits a year. Mm-hmm. It gives you priority service and scheduling. It also gives you a discount on repairs. So we actually have a chart, and we live by this chart. So you have a street rate price and then a club membership price. And if something needs to be done, the capacitor, a motor, deep cleanings, which should be done more often than you would think, then you would get that discount. Because what happens for us is in the middle of summer, we get a lot of calls.
Yes, you do.
So I have to be selective. The phones are ringing off the hook. So it's important to me that I take care of my customers first.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, people that call and they go, oh, I live down the street. The unit's 3 years old.
I'll pick you up.
Yeah, I'd pick you up, right. I've had that before, by the way. I had that. It just happened last week.
I'll buy you lunch.
Had that too. The issue is the person that installed it obviously didn't do something right, or it's something simple. I just don't have time. I want to take care of my customers.
Right.
So if you're my customer, I will take care of you. If I upset you, I'm sorry. You can call me. We'll work it out. But 9 out of 10 times, we're going to take care of it for you. It doesn't mean we can fix something on the spot.
Right.
So $24.95. If you just called me, John, if you Dean, hey, I need a maintenance on the house, a one-time maintenance. You've never been here.
I just asked you for that a week ago.
Yeah. So a one-time maintenance for us to go through. We do a safety inspection. We check the whole thing out. We charge $265. That's the first one. Then we get you on the club membership if you want.
Right.
If you don't want that, and then you just want to call us yearly after we checked it, we charge $165 if you're in our neighborhood. And you hear I keep saying in my neighborhood, neighborhood. It just took me 40 minutes to get to North Hills the other day on the 405, and I couldn't get off the freeway. I was stuck on the freeway. I could not get over. I was stuck.
Dude, I don't blame you
going north.
Yep.
And I had to get off at Roscoe. It took me 40 minutes from Burbank.
I stopped taking any appointments earlier than 10:30. Anything going down the 405 towards like Santa Monica or any there, it's just not worth it. I'll sit in traffic for an hour and 30 minutes. And then I don't mind the drive back. Typically everywhere I go is an hour, but man, an hour and a half, I start losing my patience. Yeah. And I'm like, I could be doing other things right now. It's just not worth it. So I try to tell the customers, I'll be there at 10:30.
That's why I try to service our area, which is typically the valley.
Yep. That's cool. All right. Interesting. So the takeaway from what we just talked about with the maintenance is being on his radar already is going to get you service quicker if you have an emergency, because when it's 110 degrees out and your system fails, you're going to want him there like within 10 minutes, and it's probably not going to happen that fast. But I'm just saying, if he's saying if you're on the maintenance program and you're one of his regular customers, you get priority. That's worth something. Because when you really need it, you're going to need it. And by the way, would most companies charge more on an emergency call?
I don't want to talk bad about other companies.
You don't have to say names,
but they.
You don't have to generalize.
I will say a lot of. We won't even call them companies. We'll say people, guys. Yeah, they're going to take advantage.
Yeah,
and look, they're entitled to make money. I get it. It's an emergency.
Yeah,
that's why I'd rather have my customers, and I take care of you all year. And when you have a problem, I take care of it, and you pay me the proper fee to do that.
Yep.
And then if you have an issue, we take care of it for you.
Right. So $24.95 a month does not cover replacing your system.
No.
All right. Just want to be clear on that.
Yeah. It's just under $150 a call.
Right.
But you get the priority service scheduling. You get discounts. I think there's a good value, and I give you the filter. So we take care of the filter.
Right. So a little bit more about thermostats. One thing I noticed with a brand new home buyer, walking into a flipped house. My flips are my favorite. Flips are my favorite. Yeah, that's a whole nother episode. But anyway, they walk in, they see all these shiny new appliances and all these LED lights everywhere and white paint for miles. And they see this really cool looking Nest thermostat. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. And then I open the furnace closet door, and the furnace is like 30 years old. That's a buzzkill right there for me, because now I got to tell them that. By the way, you got some chrome wheels on your 1930, furnace,
and it wasn't restored.
Right. It's pulling air from the crawl space. Yep. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So understand that, home buyers, if you're looking for houses and you see a fancy thermostat, that's great. But you got to look into the rest of that system. Ask, hey, did they replace the whole system, or do I just have chrome wheels on it? That's what I call it, chrome wheels. Chrome wheels make everything look better. Would you say? On all the old hot rods?
I agree.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, everybody. New thermostat does not mean new system, especially when you're buying a flipped house. All right, here's a question I have directly for all the manufacturers out there of HVAC systems. Why are the mini split wall units so ugly? Why can't they make those look better? Why can't they enclose them somehow so they're not? You know what those remind me of? They remind me of the You know, you walk into the old grocery stores or the meat markets, and they got those blowers that blow down so the flies can't get in.
Yeah.
That's what they remind me of.
Yeah.
Why are they so ugly?
Well, there's different manufacturers that make different ones. There's it looks like glass on the front. There's also,
I haven't seen those.
okay, well, so they have those.
Yeah.
There's also a low wall. So it's not up high, it's a low wall. It looks like an old style small wall heater through the wall. They have those.
I haven't seen that either.
But think of it logically. You have to have a coil.
Right.
So that coil in your central system, you have to have that coil. You have to have a pan to remove the condensation water. You have to have electrical. You have to have a blower motor.
Yep.
So I mean, I
Gotta
think,
go somewhere.
I think they did a pretty good job personally with them. I like mini splits, ductless split. They're super energy
I just don't like the way they look.
Neither does my wife.
For the room, yeah.
We go in Seattle where my daughter lives. We went and got an Airbnb, and they had one in every room. And it looked like shit, man. They had piping and covering on the inside.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh.
And, it passed inspection. I'm sure it was a brand new townhome that we rented, and they worked great, and the house was cool, but it looked hideous.
Yeah. I mean, if I was to put one on a wall, if I put a face just around the front and the sides, would I be okay? Because, you got to have the top and bottom open, right?
Yeah. I mean, probably not. I mean, what do you mean a face?
Like some kind of a wood cover, maybe that can just make it look a little better.
Do you remove it when you use it?
No.
You have to have the top open.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Leave the top open and the bottom open. Just cover the face and the sides.
Well, maybe you could do something with the face, but the bottom has to open.
You're right.
To allow, there's a louver.
That's why I'm saying leave the top and bottom open.
I guess you could. That's right. You're a framer. Sure, John.
Kind of like a window treatment. Yeah. Just around the sides.
I'm sure you could. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could.
I might have to, because I was thinking about
it'll disappear. If you have a little office and you're only in there all day and you're not in the main house, I think it's a great idea to put a mini split. You'll save a lot of money.
Absolutely. No,
you'll be comfortable.
Yeah. I agree.
And if you do it right, it's not that bad. If you run the piping right through the back side of it, then you don't have to have exposed piping inside.
Do they only come in white?
No, that's why I would say everyone I install is white. Most people don't want to spend more money to put in these really nice, slick looking ones. The whole idea is, to have a system that's inexpensive that'll cool a room or two.
Well, what if I want to get a fancy looking one? Where do I look for that?
They have ones that look like your monitor here.
Oh yeah.
Go to Mitsubishi. So I'm a Mitsubishi dealer.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll look that up a little later.
Yeah, you can look it up.
Yeah. So anyway, Mitsubishi, they have some fancier ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but when you see the price, you're probably not going to want to do that.
So you're a Mitsubishi dealer?
I am.
Okay.
And American Standard.
American Standard. Okay. How do you feel about the other brands?
Look, every manufacturer has a warranty. If you do your own research, you'll find that one Mitsubishi is the best mini split out there. And American Standard Train has been rated #1 Consumer Report in all the independent groups that have done the testing. Every manufacturer is fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with a Lennox Carrier. It's typically the installation.
Yeah, but what about the ones with no name on them?
With no name?
No brands.
Yeah.
You don't put those in, do you?
No, I only install those two.
Where do those come from? Where does somebody find that unit with no brand on it?
So I'm not going to give a plug for a company.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to. But there is a company. It's the biggest manufacturer of air conditioning in the world, I believe. So if a Bob is listening to me and I made a mistake, forgive me. But they have 3 or 4 different names. And they also have equipment that you could put your own name. I can put Kilowatt on their equipment. So there's no brand on it. If you look deep into the manufacturer nameplate, you'll see who made that. So there is a manufacturer. You're just not seeing who it is. And there's some off brands, and it may work, but what if you need a part?
That's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the downside to walking into a house and finding that? Hey, look, good luck finding parts for this.
I get it. I get them mostly on the ductless mini splits. Some brand that's made overseas. I'm sure it worked fine, but I can't get a part. Those parts aren't interchangeable. On a central system, you may be able to get a motor, but the way our industry is going, you're going to need to use that part from the manufacturer.
Right.
A generic motor is a generic motor, but we're getting into equipment now with variable speed. You can't use a generic motor.
Right. So on to another topic here. Some people say, hey, what's better, a gas system or an electric system on any kind of a, HVAC install? So what do you think? What's your opinion?
So I personally like heat pump, but I will tell you, it depends on the homeowner. For instance, if I come into your home and you say, I don't want a heat pump. I don't want a heat pump. I only want a gas furnace. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I may explain the benefits of a heat pump, for instance, in your home, in your climate where you live. Mm-hmm. In your home, it's relatively simple to heat and cool. A heat pump would work as well or better than a gas furnace, because a gas furnace, the BTUs, the heat that is generated, is substantially more than a heat pump unit. So you have more heat, so it gets hotter quicker and it shuts off. California is going for clean energy. So at some point, we are not going to have natural gas appliances available to us. It's already started. Mm-hmm. So our gas furnace, I have two that I can use, but I'll only use one of those two. And they're called ultra low NOx, which is a whole other thing we could get into. But to answer your question, I do like heat pump. But if I go into a home and I'll ask people, I have a survey I ask, what's your ideal temperature? Well, in the summertime, we like 80. And in the wintertime, we like 75. Well, I could tell you, I don't know if a variable speed heat pump is going to be the best for you. You're not going to get the value out of it for the cooling season. So that may be some of my elderly homeowners. So I'm not going to push them into that. To me, it's almost silly to give them some high-end variable speed system. Right. They want to turn the heat on. They want it warm in the house. A gas heater is going to do that quicker.
Right.
In your home, I would recommend a variable
My
speed.
home, you mean?
Yeah, I'd be pushing on a 2-speed or variable speed heat pump, because I don't need a lot of heat in this home. I don't need a lot of heat. Your gas bills in the last 2 months, if you've looked at them, have gone up 3 to 4 times.
Yeah.
And the gas company is going to give you a little bit of money back, but I feel, they're just teasing us.
Do you know what's behind that?
Do I know what's behind it?
Do you happen to know? Because I don't know.
I was told they made a mistake, but they did increase the cost of the gas. But whole other topic. But
yeah,
look, we live in California, so we don't have many choices.
No,
my old gas furnace that I installed 4 or 5 years ago was the best heater I ever had. It's not legal in Southern California for me to install it.
You want to give out your address?
It's crazy. It's crazy. So what they've done, the heat pump it is nice because there's some rebate money. Department of Water and Power has a rebate.
Right.
Burbank had a rebate. It's going to come back. So certain communities may have their own rebate with the utility company. There's also tax credits. So
yeah, I just want to make it clear to listeners, a heat pump system is all electric. There's no gas fuel needed. It's just electric. So in case you're wondering what that difference is, so that's what we just discussed there. So
it's clean energy,
right? So
zero carbon footprint.
Yeah.
I like the 10-year-old kids. They can tell you all about it.
Yeah. All right. So I'm a homeowner and my system breaks. You're not available. I called Tom, Dick, and Harry. They're all unavailable. Should I try to fix it myself?
Well, good question. So it all depends. So I get these calls And, I'll try to help people on the phone, and it all depends. Someone like you, John, you're relatively handy, but you already said you're testing things without having any test equipment. Mm-hmm. So the first thing to check is electricity. If you don't have the proper electricity to the machine, it's not going to work. If you don't have the proper tester to test the electricity, you're not going to be able to know. You're guessing.
Yeah.
So you can't do it. Right. It could be something as simple as a fuse. And yes, if you're relatively handy, you can change that fuse. Mm-hmm. But you have to be able to test to see if you have electricity.
Right.
The next step, can you change a capacitor, a contactor, a motor? I know a lot of people that can do it.
Yeah. I've seen it done many times.
Yeah. It's not rocket science, but
exactly.
For us, my guys are trained, and just talking to somebody, I'm 75, 80%, I can diagnose that on a phone call.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just awesome. From doing it so often. So I don't really recommend it.
It's called experience.
Yeah. I don't work on my cars anymore. I can't. My old cars, I could. We can work on that fancy
on the
1970 car.
Yeah.
But you can't work on that fancy, Jeep or Tesla.
The new SRTs.
And none of them.
No.
You can't. You can't even change the oil.
They took the fun right out of it.
Sure did.
So
Not
Dean,
fun for me.
So Dean, your service area, can you be more specific of what that covers?
Sure. So we're located in Sherman Oaks. We're on Sepulveda and the 101 freeway.
You can't miss his sign when you're going 101 headed west, and you're about to cross over Van Nuys, and you look down on the right. Sepulveda. I'm sorry, Sepulveda. Yeah. You look down on the right, and you'll see his sign.
Yeah. I've been there for a long time.
That's great.
But yeah, my area, I really like to focus on the Valley, Sherman Oaks, Encino, Tarzana,
Woodland Hills, West Hills.
Van Nuys. Yes, I go Woodland Hills, West Hills. I try not to go up to Chatsworth. I try to Northridge. I'll do some Porter Ranch.
Really? Trying to stay away from Chatsworth, huh?
Yeah.
Too hot up there?
No, it takes too long to get there.
Yeah.
So look, my emergency call isn't Monday through Friday, 7 to 4:30.
Right.
So they're calling at 4:00, and then it takes my guy on a Friday an hour to get to Chatsworth. I know as the crows flies, it's only 10 miles, but if you've lived here long enough, it takes a long time. So one, I can't do as many calls, putting money to the side.
Sure.
I can't get as many calls, done. It doesn't mean I'm not going to help you.
Makes sense, dude. Yeah. You're being efficient.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm not going to help you. And look, if you have a 3 or 4 year old unit, I'm probably not the guy to call. Call the guy who installed it.
Right.
If you're more local, it's easier for me to check it. I can tell you if there's, if it's a quick fix, we'll fix it. But Sherman Oaks, Studio City, Tarzana, Burbank. I love Burbank. I love, anything within, 4 or 5 miles. I try not to go past Mulholland Drive purely because of the traffic.
Right.
It's a problem. It doesn't mean I won't.
Right.
I'm selective, especially on a referral.
Right.
I will tell you, though, I don't go to Santa Monica anymore. I don't go to Culver City. I don't go to Malibu.
That's coming off my list soon.
And I don't go to the Palisades.
Yeah.
I don't go there. I don't do it. I'm sorry. I just don't. The traffic is too difficult for my guys.
Yeah. And your website is Kilowatt?
Kilowatt, HVAC.com.
HVAC.com. Yeah. By the way, you have a great website. I love who designed it. Is that somebody in-house that did that for you?
My wife does it with whatever those people are called that handle the website.
I might need to hijack that information to have them do mine, because I'd like to do a redo on mine. Anyway, thanks for coming. I really appreciate taking the time. I know you're a busy guy, and I hope you answered a lot of questions. I think we did, for the homeowners listening and the potential home buyers. So take care of your system, everybody. It's really important. Maintenance, just like your car.
And just a little plug for John. John, when I say one of the best, there's only one other person that I know is as good as John as a home inspector. And he's very thorough, and the way he takes the pictures is super important to contractors. He gives a lot of information, and I'm honored to be on his podcast here, and honored to be a friend of his and work for him personally. So thank you.
By the way, is my panel in yet?